Welcome to Murder with the Missus. I'm Darren.
And I'm Amy, and today we're going to talk about conspiracy theories.
Don't forget to smash that like button and go and check us out on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, and Facebook. Like, share, subscribe, and don't forget to tell your friends.
Now, this is nothing new. Conspiracy theories have been around for a long time now.
And this is, we did a conspiracy theory last week. But
the ones that were true.
Yeah, the true conspiracy theories. These right here are just conspiracy theories.
That haven't been proven.
They haven't been proven. So we'll call this one Conspiracy Theories Part 2.
Part 2.
Part 2. Anyway.
Because in today's day and age where information comes in at lightning speed, they take on a whole new thing of their own and they spin out of control before you can even blink. Now, it's not all random people in the basement in the middle of the night wearing tinfoil hats and researching alien abductions. Everybody.
Can we talk about Elvis in this one?
Yes, eventually.
Yes. Score.
We're going to start with old Bobby Ross.
What?
Yes, Bob Ross. He came into our homes and eventually our hearts through his show on PBS where he painted landscapes. Lots of water, mountains, and a happy little tree over there. But the conspiracy theory is that these landscapes are actually the places where he buried the bodies of his victims because Bob Ross was a serial killer. Okay. Of course, he has he has passed away, so he can't exactly start a TikTok campaign to clear his name. So this theory blew up. Poor Bob. He did say that he painted the landscapes because he was stationed in Alaska while he was in the Air Force. Since he spent like 20 years there, one can't help but wonder what he did to fill his spare time. Throw in the fact that he was a drill sergeant who was known by everyone as Bust 'em Up Bobby. That's a stark contrast to what we saw on PBS.
Bust 'em Up Bobby.
Yeah.
Never heard that part.
I never heard that either. Well, apparently he was a real hard ass. And a real life tragedy was his partnership with the Kowalskis, which is a whole nother episode. But keep in mind that Mr. Kowalski was a retired CIA agent. And that brought up an MK Ultra theory that he was not only a serial killer, but a government-protected serial killer. That the government not only let him kill so that they could monitor him, but even let other people take the fall for some of his murders. And he named his paintings things like Winter Glow, Peaceful Waters, and Tranquil Valley. But he also had some called Final Reflections, Betrayal and Grief, and Happy Little Accidents. Now, Happy Little Accidents is said to be eerily similar to a place known as the Devil's Tree because 5 bodies were found buried there. All were women who were half-eaten, if you believe TikTok. But the Devil's Tree is a thing in New Jersey where a farmer allegedly killed his family and then himself, and no one was half-eaten. Rumor is that that tree can't be cut down, as evidenced by a lot of axe marks on the tree.
Really?
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Mm-hmm. So you can see a lot of videos on the actual Devil's Tree, but it does have some similarities to his.
Well, I mean, you know, they say that a lot of his paintings mark the spot of where he buried them.
That's what they say.
But, you know,
who knows?
Who knows? It is a conspiracy. That's why they call them conspiracy theories.
Yes, exactly. And that leads us to another famous person in a conspiracy theory. Apparently, I need to get on social media more because I didn't even know this was a thing until you talked about it.
Yeah, I know. I seen it and I was like, what? And then I was sitting there watching it and I was like, so anyway, say who it is. And I'll
sorry. It's Garth Brooks.
Yeah. So the only reason why I actually considered this, I'm not saying I believe it.
Okay.
But he was on a talk show one time.
Oh.
And it was such a weird.
But listen, let me talk about that real quick. So the conspiracy is that Garth Brooks is a serial killer. It seems that Tom Segura, the comedian, has convinced people, because he keeps talking about it over and over and over, that there's a link between his tours, Garth Brooks' tours, and people coming up missing. But they keep talking about this clip from like back in the 90s or something, and they only show the part where he says he would rather murder somebody or kill somebody. Is that what you're talking about?
Well, no, it was like if he wasn't a singer,
Right.
If you wasn't a famous country singer, what would you be?
Mm-hmm.
And he said, I don't know, probably a serial killer. I'll probably be good at that. And he's like, no.
You're such a good person, right?
Yeah, you're such a good person.
So in this
but his face was like,
listen,
so serious about it.
If you look at Garth Brooks' interviews and his posts that he makes on like Instagram and stuff, he has serial killer eyes.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, hell, have you seen him in his what was it? Chris Gaines?
Oh, we can't. Oh, Chris Gaines. I actually come across a TikTok where a guy was like talking about Chris Gaines and Garth Brooks possibly being the same person, and I turned it off immediately.
Are you shitting me? It is the damn same person.
They did not know.
Good Lord.
So this is how misinformation gets spread, because we know, everybody knows, they should.
Garth Brooks created Chris Gaines to try out his rock and roll.
And I wouldn't even call it rock and roll. Come on.
And it wasn't. It was like
emo
rock. If that. But anyway, it lasted like a second.
Because nobody liked it.
No, because they could not get in their heads Garth Brooks as that type of person.
Exactly.
Because he was so good at country.
Plus, he did host Saturday Night Live, and Chris Gaines was the musical guest.
Yeah.
And he was like, I wanted to do it, but no, everybody wanted Chris Gaines. Nobody wanted Chris Gaines.
Nobody.
Because they're the same person, y'all. We should all know this. It's a known fact, and it's not a conspiracy.
Get your head out of your ass. Come on.
Yes. We haven't said that in the last one.
Anyway.
But this interview.
But we met him. We've met
him. Yeah.
Garth Brooks a long time ago.
Mm-hmm. He's local.
I shook his hand. I took some appliances to his house.
Yes.
Which was awesome.
It was when they were building their house in Owasso. Yeah.
And I took him over to Amy, and he signed an autograph for her. He's super nice.
Oh, nice.
Really nice.
They were like, don't go talk to him. He's here to shop. He's not here for whatever. And we're like, hey, Garth, hey.
Yeah. They was like, do not bother Garth Brooks. And I'm over there like shaking his hand and everything as they're telling him that. I'm like, hey, wife's a real big fan. Will you come meet her? He says, absolutely.
This was like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's why whenever I started watching these, I'm like, no way. There's no way.
Right. But in that interview that you were talking about, if you watch the whole thing, they're talking about him acting. Yeah. And they said that he would play like a good guy in the thing because he's such a good guy in real life. And he said, I don't know. I think I might want to kill somebody or murder somebody. And so everybody has taken that little clip of him saying that. And they're like, this is proof.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So it's his acting. If he was an actor, what would he do?
Right. And he said, I think I'd rather play a killer or something, because most people do want to play a persona that's not them in real life. They want to act out.
I only seen the part where...
And that's all they'll show. This is what fuels this thing.
This is what that national media news will give you.
Yes, little pieces.
Yeah, they give you the worst stuff.
Exactly. And I will say that in regards to him being a serial killer, I haven't found any documentation or proof, even though people on TikTok and YouTube videos say that it's been mapped out, his tour versus the missing people. I haven't seen a map. Every time they say there's a map, it's literally a map of like the missing 411, which is not Garth Brooks. That's a whole nother thing. And so if anybody has this map or possible names of victims, I need it. I want to know. And this is how conspiracy theories work. Somebody says something enough times that it picks up traction, and then it's regurgitated, just like Bob Ross's deal.
Yeah, prove it.
And Tom says it a lot, like a lot.
Yeah, I mean, he does.
He and his wife have a podcast, and they say it on there a lot. And then they've gone on, or he has gone on to other people's podcasts. I even saw a video of him at a bar, and he was up on the stage with the band who was doing Friends in Low Places. And in between lines, Tom would say things like, he's killed so many people. And everybody would laugh. So, I mean, it's just, this is how things get spread around.
Yeah.
He has a real hard on for Garth. And there are people at his concerts.
And maybe Garth was just kind of a dick to him at one point.
Who knows?
Or maybe he was at one of Garth's parties or whatever, and Tom was a dick to Garth, and Garth just like didn't give him a time or day. Maybe,
which doesn't even sound like the Garth Brooks we met.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Maybe Tom was the dick, and Garth was just like, I ain't got time for you.
You never know, but he put this out there and people ran with it.
Yeah.
And then, so there's people at his concerts that hold up signs that say, where are the bodies, Garth?
Is it him?
No. No. And every time something's posted online, like even I saw a clip of, it was like a radio station, like some some people who do like a morning show or something. And they were talking about Garth Brooks, this conspiracy theory or whatever. And people were commenting on their thread, where are the bodies, Garth? Like that over and over and over. It's just crazy. If it was me, I would have had some fun with it. You know what I mean? Like join in on the joke a little bit. Tactfully, of course, because I'm a classy bitch. But Garth Brooks has been very silent about this.
Because he probably just knows how social media works and everything else. I mean, they try to build you up and then bring you back down. And the whole thing is like, you know, he did the Be Okay, what was it, 3 years ago?
Several years ago, yeah.
Yeah. And he came in for 5 shows, sold out every freaking
fast,
one of them.
Super fast.
Like within a day, within hours.
You couldn't get tickets.
And then booked 5 more shows.
Yeah.
So that everyone could have a chance to come see him,
He's
which
very
everyone
popular.
did not have a chance to go see him because we tried.
Yes.
And it didn't happen.
He's very popular, especially around here because he lives here, y'all. I need you to understand that.
Yeah.
He has a house in Oklahoma, him and Trisha.
And I mean, I've been listening to Garth Brooks since I was little.
Our whole lives.
Our whole lives. So, I mean,
yeah,
he's good.
Yeah. And I just always think about to like, I think it was like 2000, where he helped 2 kids evacuate their house when a brush fire was coming at them. And now, as of a couple of days ago, he has sexual assault allegations against him. So I don't know.
That's just because of the money.
I don't know.
He's got all this shit coming out about him and everything else. They're like, oh, let's throw this on top.
Maybe. But this supposedly happened in like 1999. Yes. Where he assaulted his makeup stylist in a hotel room. But also, I was reading in some of the news articles that he had filed defamation suits against her last year because she was saying all this. And now she's filing because she was trying to extort money or something like that from him. And so now she's actually filed a sexual allegation against him.
Oh.
Yeah. So we'll have to see how that goes. But anyways, believe what you want, people. Now let's talk about another one. This one is more of a true crime one. Most true crimers will know the case. And I'm going to try to say the name because even though I've heard it a million times, I don't speak Russian. But it's Dilatov Pass. Dilatov. I think it's how they pronounce it. But many of you may not have heard the conspiracy theories that go along with it. So I'm going to tell Darren the story. In 1959, 9 experienced Soviet hikers go hiking in the mountains. Most are in their early 20s and are students. And at the last minute before they leave, 2 things happens. Someone new is added to the journey, but not another student. It's a 37-year-old World War II veteran. And no one ever said why he was added at the last minute, but there is a conspiracy that he was KGB. The other thing was that one of the people set to go had a sciatic issue, so he had to drop out. Now that guy, looking back, wow, he's got to be like, that was the biggest bullet I've ever dodged. The crew set out documenting the adventure, and we know that overnight, one night, tragedy would strike and they all died.
Damn, all of them?
All 9 of them.
Even the KGB guy?
Yes. So 6 of them died of hypothermia and the other 3 of physical trauma.
Are these the people who ate each other?
No. That's a different story. And theories have run wild since this happened because...
Well, that wouldn't make sense because 6 of them died and the other one died of...
3 died of physical trauma.
And there was only 9.
Yeah.
Okay.
Theories have run wild since it's happened because they had set up camp and prepared food for dinner. Everyone was found outside in different states of undress and in different locations. The tent had been cut open on the side, but they were able to determine that it had been cut from the inside, not outside. 2 bodies were found under a tree. One had 3rd-degree burns on their skin and had black fingers, not like frostbite black, more like blackened by fire. But they also had bitten off part of their right hand and it was still in their mouth. Both were only in their underwear, and there was blood and flesh on the tree trunk. The other person that was under the tree had burnt hair on the side of their head and had a charred sock on.
Sounds like maybe they built a fire.
Yeah, so there were remnants of a small fire there, like they had tried to start a fire. 2 other bodies were found in between those 2 under the tree and where the tent was. The 5th body was found looking like they were trying to make their way back to the tent, and they had a small skull fracture. Months later, the remaining 4 are found on the bed of a stream under 10 feet of snow. One has head trauma so bad that pieces of bone are embedded in the brain. 2 have crushed chests with broken ribs, 1 with a hemorrhage in the right heart ventricle, 1 is missing eyeballs, the tongue, and part of the upper lip. And all 9 of these bodies that they have found had bruises and cuts all over them. And people had started looking for them 8 days after they were supposed to have finished the trip. And it was 5 days later before they actually found the tent. So can you think of any conspiracy theories that could have been thought up for this one?
I don't know. Where is this?
It's in Russia in the mountains. So super remote, super cold.
I don't know. Were there any Yetis there? I was thinking Bigfoot, but yeah, Yetis.
Yetis are what would be the Bigfoot of the cold. Yeah. One of the conspiracy theories is that this is the first and only documented Yeti attack.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I mean, no one could figure out what happened, so what else could it be, right? Had to be the Yeti. The bodies were so damaged. And another popular theory is the government, of course. When the clothes were tested, some had high levels of radiation. And some believed that the KGB guy was added to the trip by the government to help steer the hikers away from a secret Russian military site, supposedly up there in the mountains. And some locals claimed to have seen bright balls of light in the sky that night. So the theory was that a secret missile launch happened that night and the hikers were hit with debris. And that is why they were found in such strange circumstances with radiation on their clothes. Now in 2019, yes, they are still looking into it. The case reopened and it was reconstructed. And they determined it to be a long explanation that boils down to basically about 1,000 pounds of snow falling from a snowbank that they were under, making them think that it was an avalanche. So they cut their way out of the tent without taking time to put on shoes or coats or anything. And they died in the elements. And the radiation was because 2 of the hikers worked or studied in labs or areas where they could get it on their clothes. And it doesn't really wash out in a normal wash cycle. So that's what they're saying.
I think it was the Yeti.
You're going with the Yeti.
No, what I think it was, I think that they set off a missile and caused the avalanche.
Okay. So it wasn't really an avalanche.
Huh?
It wasn't really an avalanche. It was just they were underneath like a slope and snow came off the slope.
Yeah.
So you're saying that it just caused that to shake loose.
Yeah, because, because they can do controlled avalanches.
That's true too. Yeah.
So if they are too close to where they're not supposed to be or whatever,
right,
they can actually make it look
scare them off.
It can make it look like it is what it is.
Because they're saying they were all in the tent. They had all partially undressed and were getting ready to settle in, made their dinner and everything. And then the snow fell on them. So they cut their way out of the tent and made their way to the tree. So they believe that the flesh and the blood that was on the tree trunk was actually them trying to climb the tree to see if they could see up. And somebody fell out and that's how he got that small skull fracture.
Yeah.
And then they just basically died of the elements. Every time somebody would die or something would happen, the others would take their clothes. And that's why they were in different states of undress. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's either that or Yeti.
Got to be the Yeti.
Yeah. But I'm leaning more probably towards the
Russian.
Yeah. I'm thinking that it was a low blast. It was like a low blast explosion. So it'd be a controlled avalanche.
Well, they're saying that it was actually like a missile. They launched a missile to test it and the debris came off. And that's why they had radiation on them and stuff like that. Yeah. So we'll have to, I don't know. There's, like I said, they think they've solved it now, that they've redone it in the last couple of years.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll come back with something else.
Yeah, somebody else will look at it.
That's why it's conspiracies.
It'll stay there forever. Okay, so I made you sit through the Yeti. So now we can talk about Elvis.
Yeah.
One of the biggest conspiracy theories is that he is still alive. That's nothing new. We've even talked about this, the Bob Royce, on another completely unrelated episode.
And you know what they'll say that and the whole thing is, it might not be Elvis, but look up Bob Royce on YouTube, TikTok, whatever. I mean, it's not like his TikTok personally. Just look up Bob Royce videos.
Yeah, there's enough of them out there.
There's enough of them out there. And they do like facial recognition or facial comparison and voice. I mean, this dude sounds, sings, everything. I mean, he even looks like an older Elvis Presley.
I gotcha. I agree. And he talks about his mother, who has the same name as Elvis's mother.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. He talks
Everything.
about leaving riches and stuff behind. And
Yep.
mm-hmm. And maybe that's his shtick, though.
I don't know.
Maybe that's his way of spreading the word.
Because, you see another video of old Bob Royce leaving his house and getting into his Cadillac limousine.
Oh, my. Why does he have a Cadillac limousine?
I don't know, because he's supposedly a preacher.
Yeah.
But he's leaving his mansion and getting in his...
Mansion?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Bob Royce?
I'm just saying there's a video of him leaving the mansion and getting in a black Cadillac Escalade.
Stop it.
Limousine.
Stop it.
Yep.
Maybe he really thinks he's Elvis.
Or maybe he is Elvis.
Or maybe he is Elvis. Yep. But I came across something that I hadn't heard when I was looking into Elvis conspiracy theories. So back when Elvis died, Priscilla said in an interview that she initially thought that he hadn't really died because sometimes he would check himself into psychiatric hospitals to take a break from his life. So she thought that's what was going on. Fast forward to 2001, and a psychiatrist, Dr. Donald Hinton, wrote a book saying he treated Elvis for some 5 years in a Kansas City psychiatric hospital. He was going by the name of Jesse, which is Elvis's deceased twin brother's name. The doctor and his assistant allegedly passed lie detector tests, which, if accurate, would prove that he believed that he was treating Elvis. That's not legit proof to me. A news station got involved after the doctor, his assistants, and Elvis's cousin Jerry published that book about it. The doctor gave them Jesse's fingerprints and some other DNA to test. The news station couldn't get Lisa Marie to give them DNA, so they could test it against Jesse's to see if it was her dad. So they ended up getting a liver biopsy from an old doctor of Elvis's and the liver testing from Elvis's autopsy, along with Elvis's actual fingerprints. Imagine being so famous that people are keeping body parts, like parts of your organs, somewhere.
Yeah, that's a little weird.
That's super weird. The fingerprints were not a match. I'm shocked. But what was interesting was that the two liver samples and the DNA from Jesse were 3 different DNA profiles. So either someone has the wrong liver or Elvis wasn't the one they did that autopsy on. Who was in that casket?
Really?
Yes. This is what the news reported, the station that did all the testing and had all this stuff done.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So all it did was debunk that Jesse was Elvis.
Well, didn't you say that they went back and dug the casket up?
No, they have never exhumed Elvis that I know of.
I thought you said somebody.
No, I said I saw pictures of Elvis in the casket when he died.
Okay. So the Elvis that was in the casket, because at the time he was a very big fella.
He was a big guy, yeah.
So, but the pictures of the man that was in the casket was a thin Elvis.
Was a different Elvis, yeah.
And they're saying, the conspiracy theorists are saying that it was a wax figure.
Yes. So if you look at some of the videos of them, the pallbearers carrying out the casket, you can't even see the casket because there's so many people having to carry this casket out.
Yeah.
But they're saying that that's because they had to put air conditioning units in the bottom of the casket to keep that wax from melting.
Yeah.
And that's another reason that Elvis wasn't there.
I'm telling you, old Bob Royce.
Bob Royce.
He's the real deal. Hey, you know what? We need to find out where he's at.
We are not going to hunt this man down.
No, we need to find out where he's at. And then if he's still in Tennessee, and then when we take our trip,
we're going to go to his church.
We're going to go to his church.
Oh, my goodness.
We're going to go attend service.
Okay.
And just check it out.
I would actually be down for that.
I'm just saying, we'll go attend service.
We're going to go harass this man.
No, we ain't going to go harass him. We're just going to go
snap
look.
Pictures.
We're just going to go look. Be like, I know.
I know. I saw it in person.
Little winky face. I know.
Yeah. You're shaking his hand. Wink.
Yeah. Pleased to meet you.
Elvis.
Bob.
Bob. Use your air bunnies. Bob.
Big fan.
My mom has all your records.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to another one. Next, we are going to talk about fake snow. So a snowstorm hit Texas in 2021 and the video started. Some say Bill Gates was behind it, and some went with the forever fallback of the government. Some went with science. And apparently there were people able to take the snow, hold a lighter to it, and instead of melting, it burned. And this also happened in Georgia in 2014, I believe. They were leaving scorch marks on snowballs, saying it's burning, not melting, just turning black. No water dripping. It's just burning, smelling like burnt plastic.
Yeah. And how do they explain that? Because I actually watched a video today.
Today? Okay.
And it's a guy that invented this deal that it's an airplane and he can fly and it like creates clouds.
It makes clouds?
Yep.
Not like chemtrails like we're talking about?
Nope. But the only way it can make more clouds is if there's clouds already present, some clouds. But it's some kind of like weather.
Isn't this cloud seeding?
Yes.
That's what we talked about last episode, when we did conspiracy theories that was true.
Oh, okay.
Because the government did it in Nam.
Yeah. So basically this is like kind of cloud seeding and everything else. This is just another step to that.
So what you're saying is maybe it's the gas fumes mixing with the water particles, and that's what's making
something.
Is that what they're saying?
Maybe. I don't know.
I didn't see that video.
Yeah, I didn't watch the whole thing, but yeah, I seen it. But yeah, it's called cloud seeding.
Okay, I'm gonna have to go back and look at that. So, what I did see was an astronomer, Phil Plait, Plait, Plait. He said the snow does melt, but it doesn't appear to drip because the remaining snow, which is porous, absorbs the water. And it's not that the snowball is scorching or burning, but its soot is adhering to the snowball. He blames the butane from the lighters for the soot and smell, saying, when you burn it, the molecule reacts with oxygen in the air, breaking the bonds between the atoms and reforming new molecules, which often leads to some of the carbon molecules reforming into long chains, creating what we call soot. So this is considered debunked, or some government cleanup crew would have had to went out there and clean up all the plastic because it's not there anymore. So, But I didn't see anything on the cloud seeding, so that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, now I don't know if this is like related or anything like that, but I'm just saying it sounds kind of similar to it.
It does, now that you say it.
Yeah. But they actually had a video on it, and this guy was like, yeah, this is called cloud seeding, and he had a whole setup on his damn airplane, and he's like, the only way you can do it is if you actually have clouds in the sky.
Yeah, because you're basically, remember when I said that you could control the weather if you had your own plane, because they just create more, they put more particulates into it to make more rain.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, see, these things are coming together, y'all. And poor Bill Gates got the blame for that.
Might as well.
He's probably got away with something.
Oh, he did.
Enough stuff anyway.
No, he did. He got away with COVID.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of conspiracy theories, I don't have any COVID ones in here because I specifically left them out.
That's stupid.
We all know.
Sorry. I know a lot of people has gotten it. Whatever. We'll move on.
We'll move on
because I don't really want to get into that.
That's why I left it out.
Yeah.
You know what I didn't leave out, and I should have? Flat earthers.
Flat earthers.
So we're going to get this one out of the way.
I do love these, though.
No,
you you got to, because, you got the flat earthers and the round earthers, you know what I mean?
We're called globers.
Globers, whatever. But
this made my brain hurt.
But I'll tell you what, I mean, a lot of them there's like really good points on both sides to me, because.
Well, we're going to talk about some of those that were not good points.
Yeah, okay. Go right ahead. Go ahead.
I never paid too much attention to this one when it really blew up a couple years ago. So looking at it now, like in hindsight, wow. There is a lot. There's so many videos, so many debates, so much. And I barely passed science in school 100 years ago and have the memory of a goldfish. So I was on the struggle bus, but I got some of the highlights. And I don't have to describe globers to you because people who believe that the earth is round are in the large majority. It's what we've been taught our whole lives. Flat earthers believe that the earth is more like a disc. You have the North Pole in the center, and the continents span out from that. And Antarctica creates a ring around the entire outside of it. And you may have heard of this as the ice wall.
Yeah, and if you think it stops there, it doesn't.
Right. Some flat earthers believe that the Antarctic Treaty from 1961 was signed by many different nations to protect the ice wall so that no one could actually go to the edge, meaning the powers to be have been guarding it this whole time. But reality is that you can literally travel around Antarctica. So you would be going around that ice wall. Many don't believe in gravity, saying there's a dome over the top of us. That's what keeps us here. They say space is fake. The moon is projected. All kinds of stuff. And we've both seen videos with old maps that have land all along the outside edge of the map. More continents than we know about. Some say that's where God stays. And some say it's a place where only the biggest, richest, most powerful people in the world can go. Even flat earthers couldn't tell you what's over there, because remember, they can't get past that ice wall. But if you believe that there are lands outside of what we know, outside of the ice wall, then the images of Earth from space would not be right. I just know that the number of flat earthers is reported as decreasing over the past couple of years. And a lot say that it's because they were tired of being called dumbasses all the time online.
Yeah, I mean, they get roasted pretty hard online.
They do.
I mean,
pretty hard.
The one guy, the one flat earth, did the test.
The level?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's several of those.
Yeah, he's like, so if you shine the light through the panels.
Oh, that guy. Okay, yeah. I thought you were talking about the guy who takes the level on the plane and it never, the bubble never moves.
That was idiotic.
Yes. This is different. Yes.
Yeah. So this right here, he set up, what was it, 3 panels?
I believe it was 3 panels.
3 panels. And he said if the earth is flat, then you could shine a light through the first panel and you can see it straight through.
Yeah, there's like holes in them.
That would, yeah, there are holes in them. That would prove that the earth is flat.
Mm-hmm.
And so they had the camera set up at the other end. They couldn't see the light.
They could not.
He said, if it's round, you would have to raise it up.
Yeah, to adjust for the curvature.
To adjust for the curvature. And how far away were they?
25?
25 feet?
Or 37? I can't remember.
I think it was like so many feet. I think it was like 20 feet or something like that apart. And so he puts it flat on there just to go straight through. And the guy was like, I'm not getting anything. And so he raises it up past the hole and everything. And he goes, oh, got it. And he goes, huh, that's really interesting, because that
proved him wrong.
That proved him wrong. That is a curved earth, not a flat earth.
Right.
You know, because he basically debunked his own theory.
Yep.
But then you got the map, the world map of 1541 or 1540, something like that. And it shows all the continents, shows everything, the world that we see on a globe. But then if you look at the map flat, it shows all this land all the way around with animals and everything else all the way around it.
It did. It was showing like camels and all kinds of alligators.
It was showing warm-blooded animals.
Yeah. And they actually have names.
Yeah.
On something. Like there's other oceans, the Neptunian Ocean.
And this was supposedly past the Arctic, the
ice wall. Yeah.
The ice wall.
This is past the ice wall.
Yes.
Yeah. So you've got chains of islands out there. You've got, like I said, other oceans, other continents.
And now this is a flat earth.
Right.
This is a flat earther's belief. Now, the whole thing is, this is a map from 1541 or 42, something like that.
Right.
And me, I believe the earth's round, but I'm also like, where the fuck does map come from? You know what I mean?
It could come from anywhere. Anybody can make a map.
Yeah, but I mean, this guy right here, this was actually like an authentic old map, you know?
So they say.
Okay.
I'm just picturing like if the world went through another extinction, like another ice age or another flood.
Yeah.
And then people like 400 years from now or something are digging up artifacts and they find a bunch of like Dungeons and Dragons stuff. And they're like, oh my God, this is how they actually did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they lived with dragons. You don't know.
Yeah.
That's what gets me. That's where my skepticism comes from.
Yeah.
All right, let's do a couple more.
Okay.
So we've got Martin Luther King Jr. So last week we talked about the FBI investigating John Lennon. I was going to mention that they did worse things to Martin Luther King Jr., but I decided to keep him in the unproven conspiracy list because it is still widely believed that the FBI was involved in his assassination. With Lennon, they tapped his phone and tried to deport him. And they did stalk MLK too and his family, and they tapped his phone. But for some reason, I didn't know that they had sent him a package with a tape inside at one point. Only when they sent it, he was in Norway accepting his Nobel Prize. So it was Coretta and some others who ended up opening it about a month after it was delivered. It was a letter and an audio tape. The letter said the tape was audio of him having an affair, and they were going to release it to the public if he didn't kill himself.
What?
Yes.
Yeah. No.
Know what?
I don't believe that.
This is what his wife said.
This is what his wife said.
Yes.
Okay.
That this is how far the FBI was going to get him off this planet. And it was shit like this that made people believe that the government had a hand in what happened to him. To this day, people think that they either framed James Earl Ray, like he claims, or hired other people, or they just did it themselves. Either way, that they had involvement. And that part they still deny. But a random fact, Martin Luther King and Coretta paid for Julia Roberts to be born. This is one of those random useless facts that lives in my brain. So if you didn't know that before, now you do. And you're welcome.
Yeah.
But yes, she said that this package was delivered. She said what was in it. Her and several other people opened it.
Yeah, but, was it like a doctored?
I don't know.
Because, it's the government. So
Government denies everything.
Of course they do.
Of course they do.
Of course they do.
That's how they roll. And we're going to end on some Disney.
Oh, going to end on some Disney.
Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of Disney, but
Actually, before we get to Disney,
Yeah.
did you see the news? Did you see the newest video on Bigfoot?
I have not. No.
A guy actually
Oh,
seen and talked to Bigfoot.
you mentioned something about this yesterday.
And this dude had a full-on conversation with Bigfoot.
So Bigfoot is articulate.
Oh, yeah. No, so
Okay.
he was talking to him, and apparently Bigfoot can open portals to his universe. And so they walk through the portal, and basically their world is like our world. They drive. He said
They talking about other Bigfoots.
other Bigfoots, like a whole world of Bigfoots. All right.
Okay.
And the reason why they stink when we smell them is because it's like a defense mechanism for them.
There are animals that do that, yeah?
Yep. But whenever they was over on their side, whenever he went over to his world,
Mm-hmm.
he said they didn't stink one bit.
Well, because I guess they don't need to defend themselves against each other.
And, he's like, yeah. And he goes, then Bigfoot, he was like, he goes, hey, let's go to my homie's house.
My homie,
He's like, they talking like us.
they got slang.
He said, they talking like us and everything. He goes, so we went over to his homie's house and we was kicking it and everything. And he goes, he's watching shit on TV and everything. It's like stuff like I would watch.
Oh my
And everything.
God.
He goes, I'm like, what are you watching? He looked at me and he goes, you. He goes, they watching us on TV and everything.
I can't with this. I can't.
So anyway, there's another conspiracy for you.
But when you say portals, that circles back to the missing 411 cases. They're saying that we have portals in our national forests. And that's why sometimes people just go missing.
Yeah.
Or they'll like be walking and then all of a sudden they're in a different place. And they're like, what the hell? So they're saying that I'm going to have to, we might do an episode on that so I can get Darren some knowledge on that.
I mean, that's what he said on his little TikTok. And I mean,
if you think about it, where would Bigfoots hang out? The forest.
Yeah. And you can just look that one up too. It's like man talks to Bigfoot. I don't know how to look that one up. But I actually
day with Bigfoot.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, a day in the life with Bigfoot. I don't know.
Nice.
Just look it up. It was on TikTok. I watched it and I was like, really?
Sounds like a grab for likes, but okay.
I mean, I don't know.
Either way.
Yeah.
So Disney.
There you go.
Actually, I have two of them. They're really short though. But the first one is about Club 33. Now, I thought that sounded made up, but it is a legit thing. It's for high rollers like Tom Hanks and Katy Perry, and it's how the rich do Disney. I believe the current price is $35,000 and then $15,000 per year to be in the club. And this gives you access to fancier restaurants, better hotel rooms, and access to secret tunnels, allegedly. We've always heard that there are secret tunnels under the park for employees to go around when they're not in character, or for the trash crew so they aren't walking around pushing big trash cans, ruining your experience. And the theory is that there's a club within the club. that some of these Club 33 members have access to some of those underground tunnels, and that it's named Club 33 for a reason. Theory is that it is named for the 33rd degree, the highest level in Scottish Rite Freemasons, that you can use these tunnels to go into places with lots of artifacts, symbols, and secret messages. And maybe Walt's cryogenically frozen body.
Just going through a creepy underground tunnel, opening doors, trying to find the bathroom, and you open and there's Walt.
There's Walt, making eye contact.
Yeah, he's like,
Hey, guys. That was one.
It's a small world, girl.
Isn't it, though? All right, last one. Speaking of cryogenics, we've all heard that either his whole body or just his head is frozen and possibly at Disney somewhere. So there's a theory that they actually named the movie Frozen to hack the Google algorithm. So when people search Disney and Frozen looking for Walt, they get the movie instead. Remember how big Frozen was when it came out? It was so heavily promoted. I bet there was lots of Googles, just saying. So that one actually makes sense. Yeah. But they're like, when you type in Frozen Disney dude, we want you to get this movie and not Walt's head.
Well, they just, I guess if they typed in Frozen, Walt Disney, it would still bring up Frozen.
Mm-hmm.
I gotcha.
Mm-hmm. All right. And that's all we'll do for this one. This one's been a little longer. Let us know if you like this thing that we're doing in October. We're putting in other things right along with the true crime episode each week just to show different scary things.
We're just doing something a little different, just to kind of keep it interesting.
And it's just for this month, because it's about spooky, scary stuff. So
yeah,
we're all interested in a lot of different shit. And so if you like this stuff, just say so. And if you don't, well, we won't do it anymore.
Absolutely. Well, that's it for this one. Don't forget to tell your friends, tell everybody you know, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Bye.